Hello. Welcome back, girl JQ.
Hey, it's Dali con Pique. We're here. What? It's going to be so confusing, guys, because we are here virtually. This is our first episode that we're doing virtually. So if you can hear me clear, then JQ, it's because we're actually on a Zoom call right now recording this.
Yes, we're here. More than 6 feet apart.
Hella feet apart.
But thanks for joining in today.
Yes, hopefully you guys can hear us clear. Hopefully everything runs smoothly. If you don't know, if you don't have me on Instagram, then you wouldn't know. But I had a really big scare the other day where I got really sick, and now I'm not taking any chances. I'm we're staying virtual for at least 14 days. I need to know I'm okay.
Yes, we would just want to make sure you're okay, and make sure to not spread germs, spread the love. But thank you for tuning in today. I don't know if a lot of you have, if you have been listening to our last episodes, they have been about a lot of change. And this is a big change for us because this is our first time doing this. But we have been talking about the different things that can change the way you look at things, change your life, just change period, and the main things or just some topics that cause change a lot. So today we are going to be talking about death.
The biggest
change. And how that is a big change.
Yes, the biggest change. And probably the most serious change that we're all hearing about lately. We're hearing about all these deaths happening, and it's super scary, and it's a lot of change going on, and it could easily get stressful. So we're here to talk about all of it. And it's a topic that no one really wants to talk about because everyone kind of fears it and no one really wants to touch on it. But we're going to do it anyway.
Yes, because we are just that type. So what does death mean to you? How do you take it? What is it to you? Are you scared of it? Do you have fear for it?
I used to be very, very scared of death. I used to, because it's the unknown, right? It's just, you don't know what's going to happen, and that's scary. But as I get older and I start to think about it, I try to embrace it because it is going to be something that's going to happen to all of us. And that's just the reality. That's all of our realities. So I try to think of it as being reborn or a beautiful experience, and that it's going to be something great, and trying to stay positive about it. But I really just don't know. I mean, you hear all these people that have opinions and they think they have guesses as to what they think is going to happen in the afterlife. But I'm just more of I'm just going to go with the flow and see what happens.
Right.
What about you?
For me, it's not a topic that I think about too much. I guess I could, I think about it. I think that a lot of people have thought, how am I going to die? I feel like a lot of people have thought that. I'm not the only crazy one that thinks some shit like that.
No, yeah, for sure.
And then, you want it to be in the most peaceful way. I always thought about, people used to be like, this or that. Would you rather die drowning or would you rather die in a fire? And it's none. None of the above. I just want to die in my sleep peacefully. I wish that could be the way that I go, But I don't know. I was telling you that usually this is not a topic that people, like you were saying, bring up or talk about unless it hits home, unless it hits, unless it's one of your friends or one of your grandparents or one of your family members. That's when you start to take it seriously and you kind of think as to what goes into it and how serious it can be, how you somewhat have to prepare. It's craziness, and to think that you don't want to leave your family with the stress of dealing with it afterwards as well. A lot of people don't think about that. So I think there's just a lot of things. I'm not afraid of it. If it comes, it comes.
Yeah.
But that's something that I need to work on, because remember we talked about being in the moment and living like every day like it's your last.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the type that's like, look, I gotta look to the future, you know? And I thought about that the other day, and I was like, damn, if I die, I'm over here, had all these future plans, but wasn't living happy in my moments, you know? Like, so that kind of like was a wake-up call for me. But I don't know. It's very, I mean, some of the stuff that we found on it was very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I to touch base on when it hits home, like I 100% agree with that, because it's always something that you think about and you just know it's going to happen. But then when it happens personally to somebody very close to you, then you're like, where did this person go? What happened to their existence? Are they even still existing? For me, I don't know if you guys know, but my father passed away, and like when that happened, I was so like, is he okay? That's all I kept thinking about. Like, is he okay? Is he in his afterlife? Is he living a great life? You know, if he's even living a life at all, who knows? But yeah, it's just something you start to take. For me, at least, I started to take life very seriously after that, because it was a very strong reminder. Like, this is your reality right now. What you're living in right now is your reality. This is this present moment. And tomorrow it hasn't come. Yesterday it's gone. This is all you have. My moment with you right now, virtually in the Zoom meeting in the closet, is my moment right now. And I have to embrace that, you know? And that's what that death has taught me. And I'm very appreciative of that. I think that's something we forget to think about. I think we think of death, we don't like to think about it because it's just so sad, and we look at it as negative, but there's a lot of positives with it, I feel like.
I think that it can be, and I don't want to say refreshing, but it's kind of like you said, a wake-up call, or like a reminder, like, look, you don't live every day. You gotta realize, you know, that you can go like this, you can go tomorrow. So I don't know, like, aside from your dad, have you lost anyone that was like, that made an impact on you? Not really.
I mean, I lost my grandparents when I was younger. I think I wasn't ready. I was too young to really contemplate the whole process. And I've known people that have passed, and it hit me very hard, you know, like people I used to hang out with, but nobody like very, very close. Like my dad was the first person that like everything changed for me. My whole reality got all shook up. And I mean, but even the people that I didn't know that passed, it still shook me up, but nothing like the closeness of my dad.
No, of course. I mean, that's your father, your parents. I feel like I wouldn't even be ready. I can't even begin to understand how that was for you, you know? And then it's hard, man. Like, I can't even imagine. I can't, like, even just thinking about it makes me want to cry, you know? Like, I can't imagine how hard that was for you.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's something that, but it's a good reminder, like, cherish the people that are here. They're still here, and cherish them while you have a chance. And they say that all the time, and you're like, yeah, we know. But like, for real, give them a hug. Tell them how much you love them, because you don't want to live with that, I didn't tell them enough. Or do they know how much I love them? Do they know how much I care about them? You know?
Right. You don't want that regret, especially when someone passes. For me, I haven't lost many friends. I mean, I haven't lost, you know, any, like, I just lost my grandma, actually. And this was a few weeks ago I lost her. And it was during all this mess. So I couldn't go to see her. I couldn't go to say goodbye. And the last time I saw her physically was 2 years ago when I was back in Chicago. And I saw her and I cried. I cried the moment that I left her, just because I knew that might have been the last time that I saw her. And she recognized me and everything. And then I think the last time I talked to her via FaceTime, she did not recognize me. She did not know me. And that was a little heartbreaking, you know? And then to not have a funeral or a service for her, to be able to mourn with my family, it was very sad. And I just, with all these circumstances going on, it's just crazy, you know? Like, and a lot of people are not being safe. So that just kind of hit home in a way, just because, with everything going on, we couldn't do what we normally would do for someone who passes in this time, I lost my grandma's husband, like 2013. We were able to mourn that though. And that year I lost two people because one of my friends, Eddie, remember Eddie? My friend Eddie was 20, I believe, and he had committed suicide. And we were very young, but it was very heartbreaking because I had seen him a few days beforehand and didn't know his heart was as heavy as it was. Bless you. And last year in July, I lost one of my good friends that I had after high school. We fell off, but his death was still very heartbreaking. He had overdosed and he was just found like that. So it was just disappointing because I felt like, you believe and want to believe the best in your friends, and you want to know that they're going to get through whatever they're going through. And it was kind of sad just to think that, I haven't talked to you in so long, would have made a difference if I talked to you. It's just a lot of things go through your head and you think about if you can do something different, it's a lot. And then with my ex-boyfriend, like damn near all his friends died, which is even crazier, and that's in Chicago. All his friends who are young like him died, like out there, it's truly a blessing to see 18 or 21 because these kids, the people are just savages out there.
And that's
for a whole different reason.
So sad.
Yeah. And this is people. Yeah. Craziness. But to kind of switch it up a little bit, I had looked up some of the, reasons, the top reasons as to why people die. So it kind of surprised me because I thought it would be some other things. But number one was heart disease. And number two was...
Sorry, I think heart disease, little side note, heart disease I think is the number one thing in America because we have so many obesity going on and stuff like that. Yes. So just public service announcement, be careful what you eat, be careful what you put in your body because
you really are what you eat.
Literally. And your heart, your heart feels all that shit. Your heart gets affected the most. So just be careful. Anyway, go on.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that was linked to also people who smoke, but for sure it was people who are overweight and obese. That's from your arteries being clogged, from you not getting enough blood flow. So that I can see why that would be such a big thing because America does have an overweight, obese problem.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can't expect to live a long, healthy life if you're not putting in the effort to do that, to be that way, Number two was cancer, which is believable. I'm a big believer though, cancer does not discriminate.
Yep.
I want to say, I don't look into cancer too much, but I want to say that cancer has a lot to do with what you put in your body as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you think of everything, okay, when you when somebody gets a new car, they're going to take care of their car. They're going to take care of what's under the hood. They're going to take care of they're going to put the right kind of gas that it needs to drive smoothly and this and that. And the same with our bodies, everything we put in it and under the hood, we need to take care of it and we need to make sure it's running smoothly. If not, whatever we're putting in, it's a reflection of how it's going to act, right? So if you're going to put in junk, it's going to act like junk. If you're going to try to put in love and try to nourish it, nourish, it's going to thrive and it's going to last long. That's with everything. And when you put in cancerous things and smoking and eating the processed foods and going through the drive-through every day, that's going to take a toll. And it's going to cause all this crazy shit in your, I don't know. That's just my opinion, but...
You know what? And it's so real out here. And it's crazy because they promote eating the cheap and eating the fast food all the time. And, they don't promote cooking at home or cooking meals that you can actually grow in your garden, or like, you know, like they're just so used. I think us as Americans are so used to the way that all this junk is. We want it easy, we want it quick, and that's the issue, you know. So like, I don't know, things got to change, but I feel like this has been forcing it to change though. The COVID-19 has definitely been causing a lot of stuff to change.
Seriously.
But okay, so the third top reasons for death was unintentional accidents, like motor vehicle accidents, people falling off of things, people having accidents at work, which I mean, a lot of freak accidents happen. And people are getting in accidents all the time. And especially out here in Florida, forget it. Like, I wouldn't. And then the accidents are always so crazy. All cars flipped or something crazy.
Dude,
I don't know. That's just...
It stresses me out. Like, stresses me out. My driving anxiety is horrible. I'm like, oh my God, if this is the way I go down. Because of a damn Florida driver. Imagine.
Man. It's just craziness. Can I move to some of the things that are caused by death? Like, we were talking about having death anxiety. And then...
oh, yeah. So, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can say some stuff. Go ahead.
No, just to say about the death anxiety, it said that death anxiety actually appears to be the core of several mental disorders, having that fear of dying, and like disorders like health anxiety, panic disorder, depressive disorder. I know you wanted to touch up on PTSD.
Yeah, that one for sure, because that can keep people... I mean, I just seen it just from being, you know, from up north and stuff. I see it from a lot of Chicago people, especially males, because they have this... It's like you're going to war out there, literally. That's why they call it Chirac. Like, they feel they have to defend themselves 24/7. You know, especially guys, because they're the ones that are tried more, I feel like. But it's just, when you have... I mean, I can't even imagine having no friends, because all my friends are dead.
It's
like,
sad.
There's so many people out there that are like that, and it's just... And then all the moms. I think about all the moms who lose their sons, and, you know, it's just a norm out there, and none of them get answers. Like, maybe some of them do, a handful, but most of them do not get answers, do not get justice for their kids' deaths. Like, it's just insane. So I can see how that could, like, fuck someone up. Like, if they were in war, you're coming back, you know, if you decide to move somewhere else, you're still going to have that mindset of, like, you're over there in the city, you know, like.
And constantly thinking about death. And looking at it in a negative way, because it's been portrayed so negatively your whole life.
But then for death to become a norm is crazy in itself too, because that should never be a norm for somebody, for nobody, you know, for anybody. So I just feel like that's kind of crazy, left and right, for people to just be dropping the way they do.
Yeah, man, it's sad.
So for our Adulting 101 today, we are just going to give you a couple tips as to how to prepare a little bit. You can never really prepare for death, but you want to make sure that your loved ones and everyone is taken care of after, you know, something like this happens. This is something you can prepare right now, you know, even being our age, 28, 27, 30, whatever. It's just good to do, just so that if something were to happen to you, you know, everything's taken care of. The things that I wrote down was life insurance, to get full life insurance, not termed life insurance.
Yes. My godmother is going through an issue right now, because a long time ago, she and my uncle, it happened the same thing with my uncle, but a long time ago, she signed up for life insurance. They both did. And the life insurance stated that it was term life insurance. And back then, like, they just signed it. They just went for it, whatever. Come to find out, term life insurance means up until a certain age. And if you pass that age, you don't get none of that shit. So for them, it was like, you pay for life insurance as long as you die before 70. Since they both lived past 70, all that money that they put into their life insurance was just, like, taken. They didn't see any of it, because it's term life insurance. So you're supposed to get whole life insurance, which, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, but, like, why do we even need life insurance? Okay, I'm going to let you talk real quick. And just...
No. I 100% agree with that because it's craziness. Like they already make you get regular insurance, then you got to get life insurance. Then on top, it's just car insurance. You need insurance for everything. Like, damn. So like, can we just live?
I need.
That's my
right. You're telling me I need insurance to die? What? But I think I should just open up a savings account and put my money and put my savings into that, and then just set somebody as a beneficiary and put in my will, look, when I die, this is X amount to take care of all my arrangements or whatever the fuck y'all want to do. Because let's be serious. After I die, it's up to you guys. Like, I'm going. But that's whatever you guys want to do. This funerals are literally just for the living. It's to help the living cope with what happened. And it's crazy that we have to think ahead of time how to help everyone cope. You know what I'm saying? We have to set everyone up financially to help them cope. Which is just insane to me.
Yeah.
That we have to think that way. And money is revolved around it. Like, here's $5,000 so y'all can figure it out. It's crazy.
Oh, okay. So I had read something and it says that life insurance pretty much, but you're the same shit you were talking about. Pretty much like putting money away so that if something does happen to you, people can use it for the debt you were in or for the funeral cost. What did it say? It's like replacing your income when you pass away. So your beneficiaries can use the money to cover essential expenses, college tuition, things like that, outstanding car loans. And I mean, that's cool. But why and I think that's the risk that some people, because, some people don't believe in banks and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like, I don't know. This is kind of stupid in a way. It makes sense. But unless you're like putting that percentage, and I think maybe I want to say that's what they do is they put interest on it and add up to it so that you're getting more. That would be the only upside to it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, might as well just put money in the savings, like you said, and put it to the side.
Right. And there's some savings that collect interest that you can open up a savings and collect interest on the savings. So I feel more I feel more comfortable doing it that way than giving some random company my money so they can become rich off of the expense of me dying. It sounds really fucked up to do.
No, and then like your godmom, in her situation too, like that's really messed up. For how long has she been paying for this life insurance for her not to have any of it? That is crazy.
Dude, and my uncle apparently he was in a life insurance for $100,000. Doesn't see one penny of that.
Oh my goodness, that's craziness.
I would be pissed.
So definitely, you guys, get a savings account for that, or just set some money to the side. Whether you get a life insurance or not, just make sure you're smart about it. Get full life insurance if you do, or put the money to the side because you want to make sure your loved ones are not in debt and have to come out of pocket for something, for you dying. Not that for something so dumb,
like dying, like death,
right? No, but for sure, just save money for the funeral costs for all of that because you don't want that burden on your family and stuff.
Even if you don't want a funeral, at least make a will. Make a will and state exactly what you want done, who you want to take care of it. When my father passed away, I love my father to pieces, but he was a very unorganized, like, I don't give a fuck type of person. Like, he was not thinking of that at all. And he had no beneficiaries, no anything. So, like, all the responsibility pretty much goes to the eldest son. Yeah, eldest of kin, is that what it's called? Something like that. But so it went to my brother, so he was responsible of everything. But even when it came down to getting his pension money that he was supposed to collect when he retired, he didn't write down a beneficiary. So this is how crazy it is. And he was supposed to get $30,000 in pension money, right? And that was supposed to be split between me and my brother. But because he didn't he didn't put us as a beneficiary, the company keeps half of it, and then we split the other half. Then the siblings split the other half. So we were each supposed to get 15 grand, and like we only got half of 15 grand each. Which is still decent. Like, I'm not complaining, but like that's how they get you, dude. Like, this company got to keep 15 grand just because he didn't write a beneficiary.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah. So it's just like, take care of those little things, because those are the headaches your family are going to have to deal with. And on top of grieving, you have to figure out the funeral, everything, what you would have wanted if you don't have a will, trying to split everything up. It's crazy.
I feel like this is a perfect time, and those are perfect moments to be like, are we adulting yet? Because this is some adult shit that you don't even think about when you're little. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Oh my God.
Dude, but I feel like I'm still not grown enough to even write a will. Like, what? Give my Honda Civic to my brother? I don't know. My beat up ass Honda Civic. My parents can have my dog.
My Nikes and my shoes in the closet.
Give all my clothes to Jackie. My will is gonna be literally like one page on like loose leaf paper.
Oh my God.
Signed by me.
You know, though, I have had, and that's one thing I hate talking to my mom about, but we have had conversations. She's like, look, when you die, like, she's told me a little bit here and there, but I haven't sat down with her and actually been like, okay, so what's up? What do you have set? What do you have planned? What do you have together already? What's organized for you? Because our moms are older. So this is conversation we low-key should be having with them. But of course, we're like, my mom's going to live forever.
Avoiding it. But it's true. I mean, it's like, remember what I had read earlier. It says that the Western culture, like our culture, avoids this topic. They avoid talking about it. And the less that something is openly discussed, the scarier it becomes. It's kind of like, it's kind of like sex, right? Like, the less that nobody wants to talk about it, everyone just assumes that you just figure it out. So when sex comes, it's like so unknown. It's so like, what the fuck? And death is kind of like the same thing. The less that we talk about it, the more it becomes scary, and the more that we don't know how to handle it and don't know how to deal with it.
I feel like the more people push themselves away, like.
Yeah, man. So it's important. Have those talks. I mean, I'm dreading it too. My mom told me today she wanted to be cremated.
Oh my God. Well, my mom, we had this conversation, and well, before I get to that, I'm just gonna touch up on the Stop Being Childish segment of our podcast, because we've been talking about it right now, but it just says, don't be afraid to speak on it. Don't be afraid to speak on death, especially when it comes to yourself. When it comes to older people in your lives that, you know, that you're connected to, your parents, your grandparents, don't be afraid to have those conversations. Have those conversations with your parents about if they're getting it all together, if they have it all together for whoever, you know, just have those conversations. You know, we're grown now. So regardless if you're scared or not, you need to know what to do. You have to be prepared. And it's crazy to say that, but you really do, you know?
It's so scary. Like, I'm thinking about having that conversation with my godparents, and I can't even, like, think about it without wanting to cry. Like, I feel like I'm going to go and be like, I just love you guys so much. And, you know? But we were talking about acceptance, like, working on the acceptance, working on the fact that it's going to happen and accepting it for what it is to help you get through it. The harsh reality of life.
Sure. Because it's definitely hard. To go back to what you were talking about with your mom, because you said she wanted to be cremated. My mom said that she wanted to be viewed for a couple hours and then she wanted to be cremated.
Yeah.
Too. I don't know for myself. Would you want to be cremated?
For sure. I want to be cremated, and so this is like the dream, right? I want to have like a family land with like a few acres, and hopefully pass it down to my children or something. And I want them to cremate me and plant a few trees and just grow life out of me. And you know?
I love that idea. I love the idea of you passing that down and then there being like 100 trees in your backyard from all your family. You know what I'm saying? That would be so dope.
Like, bitch, I'm still here. I'm here better than ever. What about you?
Yes. I think I would definitely want to be cremated. I wouldn't want them to go through the process of watching me get buried and just having to put me in the ground. You know, maybe I'd want to be viewed for a little bit, but that kind of even, it's just like, I feel like it makes it harder when you see them like that because it doesn't really look like them. It's not them, you know, like, I don't know.
And the whole
it's weird because I've seen too many people in caskets, so it's like, oh, it's just not.
And the whole the whole process of like somebody dying and then getting them ready for the funeral part and stuff, you're embalming them, so you're like stuffing them back up so they still look alive. It's kind of like freaky kind of idea in a way. Like don't be stuffing my shit. Like just let me die. I'm done. Yeah, sick.
I'll say this, Dali, because one of my cousins that lives in Orlando, I think his girlfriend's parents had passed. So, you know, they had their little sala, their living room, and they had, you know, a big couch. And there was 2 tables right next to the couch. There's one on one side, the other one on the other side. Both tables had ashes of her parents. So it was kind of weird because it was like, I'm watching TV by myself, but I literally have 2 people with me too, you know, like.
Oh my God. Remember the movie Meet the Fockers? They had the grandma and then he knocked it down and the cat peed on it.
Girl, I'm thinking, do you remember that movie? It's with the guy from The Hangover, the one with the baby. I forgot what the movie was called, but anyways, he took these coffee grounds, right, and was taking them, making coffee. He's like, this coffee doesn't taste right. He was like, those are my mom's. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing ever. And then he like spit it out, dropped the thing. Girl, it was crazy. But who the hell does something like that? I was cracking up. That was just so funny.
Dude, people do weird stuff with like how the living react to the dead, which we can go into it because that's what we were going to go into. We, like we were saying, our tradition is to embalm ourselves, which is weird, and then do a whole ceremony and, you know, bury us 6 feet under. There are the Jewish people I know, I read that they think that they need to bury the body immediately. They bury the body naked, wrapped in a white cotton sheet, I think it is. And they believe they need to give the body back to God, the soul and the body back to God as soon as possible and back to the earth. So they do it immediately.
I crack up. We were talking about how you would want to be like cremated and stuff. I don't know if you watched like Game of Thrones or any movies like that where it's like in the old times in Rome and a whole bunch of places like that. When they have like a king or queen or someone very special to them dying, they have them on like this raft that goes into the water and they put their dead body there and fill it with roses. But what they do is they take a bow and arrow and they shoot it with fire. And then they burn the whole thing sets on fire. Yeah, the whole thing sets on fire, but it's in the ocean floating away.
Huh.
Kind of like a goodbye.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that's so fancy. I would like that. Let me be a queen. But then I think about it and I'm like, who's gonna find this raft? First, this raft's gonna float.
This is my death raft. Don't touch it.
Girl, the tradition. It looks so nice and like very special when they do it on TV, but I think about that and I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, that's like mummification, like in the old Egyptian times. Like mummies and stuff. It's so weird. They feel like the body needs to stay intact. So they wrap it and stuff, and then they spend all their lives preparing the tombs. The rich Egyptians that's what they would do. They would spend their whole life preparing their tombs so they can get mummified and put in a tomb with all their gold and all their possessions.
Special belongings.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl. I think that they do that because they feel like someone from an afterlife or them from an afterlife will replace the body that they have or come into the body that they have and have everything they need, per se. I think that was kind of like, I want to say that's because, like, they didn't wrap themselves like that for no reason. They preserved the bodies pretty damn good. Because I've seen, like, when I was younger, I used to see people be like, oh, they unwrap the body of blah, 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 blah. And it's still and this is thousands of years ago.
Yeah, and fingers still intact and shit. Like,
that's weird. What the fuck?
So weird. But no, okay, so I want to touch base on this way that the people handle the dead, which is like super really fucking weird to me. It's the Toraja people of Indonesia. They believe that the dead are never really gone, so people are not so quick to dispose of their loved ones' bodies. When a person dies, their family cares for their body until a proper funeral can be prepared, which can take weeks to months or even years. Bitch.
Mm-mm.
How are you caring for a dead body for years? What? Okay. So it says, during this time, the deceased is treated as if they are simply sick instead of dead. Once the funeral is finally ready, the Toraja village honors the dead with prayers, dancing, and animal sacrifice before they take it to the tomb. However, the body is not left in the tomb forever. Every 1 to 3 years, the Toraja people exhume their loved ones, wipe them clean, dress them in new clothes and sunglasses, and walk them around so they can do things like introduce them to the new members of the family. What the fuck?
This is the dad you never met. This is
meet your great-great-grandson. What? Bitch, I'd be like, leave me alone. I'm trying to live my next life.
That's so. Well, I was telling you earlier in Puerto Rico, they were doing some weird stuff. I don't think it's just in Puerto Rico, but they're like embalming the people, filling them and stuffing them with stuff, but then having them put in scenarios like they're actually doing stuff, like sitting down on a chair or standing up with a drink. Like, what?
Holding a gasolina.
Right? If those who don't know what a gasolina is, it's like a Capri Sun of alcohol. And it's legit, it'll get you messed up. But that's so funny that you said that.
Oh my God. Dude, they do some weird stuff. And then you have the Mexicans, which I actually like the Mexican tradition, the Day of the Dead. Dia de los Muertos. Which is, if y'all haven't watched Coco, watch Coco and you'll get schooled on Day of the Dead. But I like that tradition where they do a day to, it's really to honor the loved ones. It's to, like, they believe that they come back for that day and they have like a party and a celebration and stuff. I like that.
I like that. Coco, definitely, because I was like, Dia de los Muertos, what? And like, I used to be like, Mexicans are weird. But like, that movie put my mind at ease, and it kind of put my mind in a different perspective, you know, everything in a different perspective, because I thought of that so differently. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is love. I love this.
Yeah.
To think that you celebrate on days, I think that makes more sense, you know, to celebrate on this day all of your dead, you know, your loved ones that have passed. And then they have like, what was it called? Like, they had a wall of all the pictures of all the people that have passed.
Yeah, kind of like a shrine kind of thing.
Right. And not that they would pray to them, because I didn't see them pray to them, but it was kind of like just for memory. Hey, that was your da-da-da-da. That was this and that, you know? So I think it was, because like in Coco, they couldn't spend the day, you know, the Day of the Dead with their loved ones unless they had their picture on the shrine, you know? So it was cute though. I like that. I like the Mexican version of the way they do things.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to honor the ones that have passed and to, you know, still respect them, you know, and to teach your family that maybe have never met them, to teach them about their ancestors and to bring that culture into it. I like it. I like it. I think that's pretty decently respectable.
I think it's better than unwrapping your dead loved one and being like, "Hey, baby, this is your grand."
Putting clothes and sunglasses on.
Don't look at his eyes. Don't look at his eyes. No.
Oh my God, how fucking crazy, dude. People are weird. But yeah, so if you want to go, I have to the topic as to what happens when we die. So the beliefs that people have about when we pass. What do you think? Do you have a certain belief of what happens when we die?
Well, I grew up thinking that there was the heaven and the hell. I want to believe there is a heaven and there's a place where, a good place that people go to and that they're welcomed and loved. And, you want to what brought me to ease with my mom's death. Oh my God, knock on wood. That didn't mean to say that, but my grandmother's death was that, for a long time she suffered with just being so sad about my grandpa being gone. And now it kind of puts me at ease to think that he was welcoming her at the gates, the gates of heaven, they say. He was welcoming her, waiting for her. Just that thought in my head kind of puts me at ease, and it makes me smile,
Right.
So I think I'll believe that one, just because it kind of like, sometimes I'm like, damn, we might not go anywhere. We're just dead, But I like to believe in that. And I think that I would tell my son something like that. I wouldn't be like, oh, they don't go anywhere, baby. He's just dead, like I would want to tell him something like that to ease your mind, because who wants to think that some people, like, I don't know if you think that you can be like, if I'm a bird, you're a bird. When I die, I'll reincarnate into something else. I want to believe that too. That's a nice little belief to think that. And a lot of people believe that too, that they were a reincarnation of someone else. Or like I've heard stories of people's kids saying like, naming specific things about someone else's life.
Yeah.
Like I've heard things like that too. So I don't know. But I do believe in like the heaven hell thing. That's what I was kind of put in my head. You don't ever want to think you want to go to hell. Because nobody want to go to hell, but I don't know. I just think the heaven part for sure. Like to think that there's a space for people to go, to be together, happiness and no pain. Yeah. So that's my thing.
I would like to believe that too. I want to believe that there is an afterlife and that I can be reunited with my loved ones and watch over my loved ones that are still living. I really truly hope that's what it is. As far as hell, I don't think that your decisions and your situations that you were put in unwillingly on Earth are gonna go with you in the afterlife. I don't think that's really fair. Like you were given a mindset and a perspective and a way to use your mind for a reason, and you're gonna get punished for that. I don't think that's really right. I don't know. Some people think that we are in hell, that Earth living here is hell. And some people believe that, and that we were here when we died, that's when we go to heaven. And then I want to believe that it's the heaven thing. Like you're only gonna rise greater from this. But then you say those stories about the reincarnation and the people really thinking and like having visions and stuff of living in other times. And it could be true. I mean, we're cells and we're energy, and
who knows, like I'm so open to different ideas when it comes to things. I'm open to hearing things too, because it interests me, like to think and to just reflect on what other people think, because it's just so different everywhere, but
yeah,
man,
I love hearing all about different views of shit. I'm a very big believer, and I know that I know nothing. I can have my opinions on things, but my opinions, that's my reality. Your reality might be completely different from that, and you might have completely different views, and maybe you're the one that's right. Who knows? Some people, these cult like some cults that I've heard about believe that aliens come and pick you up. And there's people that think when we die, they're going to wake up and we've all been an experiment the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
Or you wake up and you've been dreaming. You've been in a really crazy dream and you wake up to your other life. I don't know. But I looked up a few things of people that have died, like briefly. So they've technically passed away for like 3 minutes and then they've come back to life and their experience on it. Some people say that one person said they saw a garden. Somebody said they saw a loved one, kind of like welcoming them in. Somebody said that they were kind of like floating in space. It wasn't really space like with stars. It was kind of like floating kind of in nothing, like an abyss of nothing.
Oh, that's happiness.
Yeah, there was one, I have it up here, in 1994, an orthopedic surgeon got struck by a nearly fatal bolt of lightning in New York. And he felt himself fly backwards, and the next thing he remembered was turning around to see his body lying on the ground behind him. And then for a moment, he stood there and watched a woman perform CPR on his body before he floated up a flight of stairs to watch his children play in their rooms. And it says, Then I was surrounded by a bluish-white light, an enormous feeling of well-being and peace. The highest and lowest points of my life raced by me. I had the perception of exhilarating, being drawn up. Then, as I was saying to myself, this is the most glorious feeling I have ever had, slam, I was back.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
Woo!
But those were just a few examples, but all the ones that I saw were all something positive. All a positive feeling, like a good feeling that they had within themselves. Which is something...
It's kind of like relief in a way, you know, like, you're not saying that death is a relief, but when you have ties to the earth, there's so much that can come with it, you know, like, especially in your life, you don't know what someone's going through, you know, so.
Yeah, man.
And about my grandma, I know she was in tons of pain. So was my grandpa. So that's why I was like, I know she's in peace and happy right now. Like, you know, I want to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I hold on to those beliefs. But yeah, man. This is a great episode.
I know. Another thing I want to say real quick before we wrap it up, because we are hitting time. Our good friend, Jerry, he recommended an app to me called WeCroak. WeCroak. I'll put it in the notes because it's really cool. It sends you about 5. They say that if you contemplate death at least 5 times a day, that you'll live happier. You'll live a happier life. So they send you 5 reminders every day, like your phone goes off and it says, don't forget, you're going to die. And you open it and it sends you a different quote. Something about death. I can read you guys my quote now. But yeah, it's really cool. And at first I was like, this is kind of really crazy. But the more that it was happening, the more I was like, wow, I really like this. And I do see myself living a little happier. You know, you get that reminder and it's kind of like mentally forcing you to live in the moment and to be like, I am going to die. Let me enjoy this time. Like, damn, that's true.
Yeah. I understand that.
My quote right now, it says, a white bird vanishes in the mist. Autumn waters merge with the sky. Sometimes I don't know what the fuck they mean, but they're cool. I try to be like poetic and be like, oh, that was nice. But sometimes I'm like, I don't fucking know.
I just know I might die today.
Right. Today, I just know that I have not forgot that I'm going to die. So it's doing its
funny.
Job. But yeah, so I'll put that in the show notes if you guys want to get that app. It's really cool. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good, girl. This is a great episode.
This was a really good episode.
Thank you for... Yes. Sorry. Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Yes.
We appreciate the support for those of you who have been listening, you know, from the beginning.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it all. We love the feedback. If y'all are willing to give any, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. and to be here now. Be in this moment. Live like you were dying, because you're gonna die. So just live happily. This is your reality, and just be fluid. Try not to be in too much control. We have no control over our lives. Be fluid and just go with the flow.
Yes, I agree. Good ending. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye. Love you.